You open a can. Quick protein. Cheap. Convenient. Harmless, right? Tuna has been marketed as clean, lean fuel for decades. But recent reported testing and sourcing questions have raised concerns about mercury levels, added ingredients, and transparency. Today, we're counting down 7 brands you may want to reconsider. Because not all canned tuna is created equal. And here on Culinary Cipher, we don't panic, we analyze. Because we don't just follow labels. We decode your plate. Countdown. Number 7, Chicken of the Sea. It's everywhere. Affordable. Familiar. For many families, it's the default tuna brand. That's exactly why it lands on this list. Popular brands sourcing large ocean-caught tuna have faced concerns raised over mercury variability, especially in albacore products. Larger tuna species tend to accumulate more mercury over time. Chicken of the Sea offers both chunk light and albacore, but the labeling can be confusing for casual buyers. Albacore typically contains higher reported mercury averages than skipjack used in chunk light. The issue isn't panic. It's awareness. If you're grabbing albacore weekly, that choice matters. Watch for species labeling and country of origin details. And speaking of albacore-heavy brands, the next one may surprise you. Number 6, Bumblebee. Bumblebee is another household name. Big distribution, competitive pricing. But with scale comes sourcing complexity. Concerns raised in past industry discussions included inconsistent testing transparency across global supply chains. While companies follow federal guidelines, consumers rarely see batch-level mercury reporting. That means you're relying on general compliance rather than detailed disclosure. Bumblebee also offers flavored pouches that include vegetable broth, modified food starch, and added sugars. It turns simple tuna into a processed product. The base fish may be fine. The extras add up. If simplicity matters to you, ingredient lists deserve attention. Now let's shift towards something that markets itself as premium. Number 5, Starkist. Starkist positions itself as protein-focused and fitness-friendly. Their pouches are convenient and heavily marketed toward active consumers. But convenience often introduces added ingredients. Many flavored varieties contain soy, hydrolyzed proteins, and natural flavors. These aren't inherently harmful, but they move the product away from plain tuna. There have also been broader industry conversations about mercury monitoring in large albacore sourcing. Again, this isn't an accusation. It's a reminder that larger tuna species typically show higher mercury averages in reported testing compared to smaller species like skipjack. Consumers buying albacore regularly should factor that into their choices. If you want to reduce variables, species matters. And that brings us to a brand many consider upscale. Number 4, Wild Planet. Wild Planet often gets praise for sustainability claims and pole-in-line fishing methods. That's a positive step. However, concerns raised by some consumer advocates focus on the brand's heavy emphasis on albacore. Albacore is a larger fish. Larger fish generally accumulate more mercury over time. Wild Planet has published statements about testing below federal limits, which is important. But federal limits are broad guidelines. They don't mean mercury-free. If you're eating tuna frequently, even moderate mercury exposure deserves consideration. It's about frequency and portion size. Not alarm, not fear, just math. Sustainability matters. But so does species selection. Mid-roll CTA. Before we get to the final 3, quick pause. If you value calm, evidence-based breakdowns that help you shop smarter, not fear louder, you're in the right place. Culinary Cipher exists for that reason, to help you decode your plate in a marketplace built on marketing. If that mission resonates with you, stay with us. There's more you need to see. Now let's move into private labels. Number 3, Great Value, Walmart. Store brands offer savings. That's the appeal. Great Value canned tuna is inexpensive and widely available. But lower price often means broader sourcing networks. The veil of transparency can be thinner. Packaging may list the species, but detailed sourcing regions are rarely highlighted. Chunk light is generally lower in mercury than albacore, yet consistency depends on supply. Another watch point is added vegetable broth. It increases water weight. You pay for tuna. You get added liquid. That's not wrong, but it dilutes value and clarity. In the brand's ready-to-eat pouches, its ingredient lists sometimes include soy or flavorings. When cost is the focus, ingredient quality can slide quietly. And speaking of quiet compromises, Let's talk about flavored convenience packs. Starkest Creations flavored pouches. These deserve their own mention separate from plain tuna. They're marketed as ready meals. Lemon pepper, Thai chili, ranch. The problem isn't the tuna itself. It's everything added around it. Modified food starch, sugar, soy protein, flavor enhancers, vegetable oils. What began as just fish now becomes a processed mixture. If you're choosing tuna for clean protein, these additions complicate that goal. They also make it harder to evaluate mercury exposure because serving sizes and total fish content vary. The more processed the product, the less control you have. Convenience is attractive, but transparency shrinks. Now we reach number 1. Number 1. Generic albacore white tuna bulk packs. It's not a single brand, it's a category. It's the bulk packs of white albacore sold at discount stores or warehouse clubs under rotating labels. The appeal is obvious. Large quantity, low price per ounce. But this is where mercury awareness matters most. Albacore is a larger species, and reported testing across multiple organizations consistently shows higher average mercury levels in albacore compared to skipjack. That doesn't mean every can exceeds those limits. It means the average exposure to mercury is probably higher. Also, bulk buying increases availability. Availability often increases how frequently you eat it, and over time, that frequency shapes overall exposure. Add in limited sourcing transparency and minimal public batch testing disclosure, and you're left relying entirely on regulatory baselines. Again, this isn't a warning siren. It's a pattern worth noting. Shop smarter. Mercury is naturally present in oceans. Larger predatory fish accumulate more of it as they age. That's science, not scandal. Regulatory agencies set limits. Most major brands comply, but compliance doesn't equal identical levels across products. Species choice, fishing region, and supply chain scale all influence outcomes. Chunk light tuna, often skipjack, generally contains lower reported mercury averages than albacore. Knowing what species is in the can is what makes a difference. Added ingredients. There's also the issue of added ingredients. Plain tuna and water or olive oil keeps things simple. But once vegetable broth, soy protein, or flavor blends appear, you're no longer buying just fish. You're buying a formulated product. That matters if you're trying to monitor intake or reduce processed additives. Sustainability is another layer. Whole-in-line fishing and transparent sourcing are positive indicators. Vague region labeling is less helpful. Brands that openly state fishing methods and species provide more clarity. That doesn't guarantee perfection, but it does signal accountability. Final thoughts. None of these brands are being accused of wrongdoing. Most follow federal guidelines. Most operate within legal limits. The point is not to eliminate tuna from your pantry. It's to choose wisely. Look for smaller species, clear labeling, minimal ingredients, and eat in moderate frequency. Canned tuna can still be a convenient protein option, but not all cans are equal. Before you write it off as just tuna, reading the label takes seconds. Checking species takes seconds. Noticing added broths or flavor systems takes seconds. Those small checks shape what you're consuming week after week, over months and years. Marketing highlights protein grams and convenience, but it rarely highlights species differences or cumulative mercury exposure. And that's where consumers need to lean in. Next time you're in the canned tuna aisle, pause. Flip the can. Is it albacore or skipjack? Plain or with added ingredients? How often are you eating it? Remember, transparency matters. Source matters. Species matters. Protein grams are printed bold. Species differences aren't. That's why we look deeper. Decode your plate.